Okay, this is lesson 15, and in the last lessons we've been learning the opinion of Abaya, and I'll just bring that in over here. Abaya holds that the machlekes between Reb Meir and Reb Yehuda is concerning two things, and those two things are shas nefila and la'achar nefila. Shas nefila means at the time that it fell. The question is, are you guilty for just simply for falling, for slipping? Machlekes was concerning niskal pesheya. Is slipping your own negligence? It's a good question. Someone slips on the floor, is he guilty or not? Well, you're supposed to be more careful. Rabbi Yehuda says that that's an accident. Rabbi Meir says no, you should have been more careful. So there's two views over there. Someone slips. Then there's another machlekes, which is concerning after it fell down, but you made it ownerless. And the question was, if you make it ownerless, are you still responsible? You say, hey, it's not mine. I don't want it. Um, so Reb Meir says that doesn't matter. You put it there, you're chayiv. Mafker nezakav, it's called. Mafker nezakav is chayiv. Rabbi Yehuda says, no, listen, it's not your. The guy makes it ownerless. He's not responsible for everything. It's like it's garbage. It's he's not responsible to follow it around. If he wanted to keep it, so then yes, he would be responsible. But he's not here. He's not responsible. Okay, that was according to Abaya. Let's get some. Let's see if we can write over here. Um, what is this? Let's put in over here Rabbi Eliezer. It's not Eliezer, I'm sorry, it's Rabbi Elazar, which we spoke in class. Usually Rabbi Elazar, it's Rabbi Elazar ben Pedas. Yushalmi calls him Rabbi Lazer. That makes it more like user friendly. But his name is Rabbi Elazar. He's a student of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Elazar ben Pedas, it's usually. So Rabbi Elazar Amar. Rabbi Elazar says, B'shas nefila machlekes. That's a statement. The time of falling is the machlekes between Rabbi Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. And if you want to see that in the Mishnah, if you remember, here's the Mishnah. We just used this little thing in lesson 14. It says Nishbra Kadai, B'chlak Echad B'mayim, Mishlak B'charsis. Rabbi Meir says Chayiv, and Rabbi Yehuda says it depends Miskaven or Eina Miskaven. Okay, now let's just go back to our chart. So we'll see what exactly Rabbi Elazar says. Rabbi Elazar says Shas Nefila. So Shas Nefila, let's just make an arrow like that. Shas Nefila is the machlekes. Okay, now the Gemara doesn't know what he means lachar nefila, but let's assume that it means there's no machlekes lachar nefila, and they're both going to agree to something. The question is, what is that something? Okay, so we'll go back down. It says, Aval lachar nefila mai. What is it in lachar nefila? So the Gemara answers, oh, that's not a problem. Divrei hakol, everyone agrees. Let's make a line over there. Everyone agrees pater. Okay, everyone would hold pater. Let's go on to our chart. So let's write over here, lachar nefila, everyone holds pater. And we'll put over here, Daled Hey stands for Divrei Hakol. Okay, great. The Gemara asks, 1 second, V'ikar Reb Meir the Mechayev. Reb Meir holds lachar nefila that you're chayev. And if you don't believe me, Rashi quotes to us the Brisa. The Brisa says like this. I inserted it over here so you can see it. It's from Daf Chav Ches Amud Beis. Tanya. We learned in a Brisa. By the way, whenever it says Tanya, it's quoting a Brisa. By the way, the name Tanya, the Alter Rebbe, besides for whatever Kabbalistic reasons there are for using that, but it's it's the first phrase of this book of Tanya was a Brisa. So it's like a parsha gets called by its first word. So Tanya, we learned in a Brisa, it says Nishbara Kadi, if someone's kad breaks, v'lei solka, and he didn't pick it up. It's clearly here that the argument that this case is referring to someone who's not picking up something that he dropped. And let's do the next one. Nafal Gamali, his camel fell, v'lei hemidei, and he didn't pick it up. So again, we have two possibilities of understanding what happened. Is it because he's guilty just simply for slipping, or is he also, or is it because he made it ownerless afterwards, and that's what the argument over here, where Reb Meir would say chayev, the Chum say pater. There's no doubt that since it says v'lei solkoi, v'lei hamida, that you didn't pick it up, that it's not talking about your negligence in slipping. It's talking about the fact that you made it ownerless, and maybe you're not responsible for not picking it up, for not clearing up the debris. So you have a broken cod, you didn't pick it up. So it's clear over here that Reb Meir holds lachar nefila, even though it's mafkir nezakav, even though you made it ownerless. if you want to get into this, how do you know that you made it ownerless? But the simple reason for that is because if you didn't make it ownerless, the Chacham would not say pater. So it's Tosfos discusses that. So it's clearly a case where you made it ownerless. That's why the Chacham say pater, and it's also clearly a case where it's la'achar nefila because it says v'lei salka, you didn't pick it up. That's the emphasis of v'lei salka or v'lei hamida, you didn't pick it up. It's a case of la'achar nefila, and Reb Meir still holds chayiv. So the Gemara says, "V'ha," but Ikar Reb Meir de Mechayev. There is a Reb Meir that says Chayev. So why can you say Divrei Hakol Pater? Reb Meir definitely holds Chayev. Elamai, rather what? Mai is always what? I know sometimes the boys confuse Mai with Amai. Mai is what? Amai is why. I wish I had a way of helping you remember that, but that's what it is. Mai means what? You know, it rhymes with why, but it's not what it means. Elamai, rather what? Divrei Hakol Chayev. Because Reb Meir says Chayev, so it must mean that everyone holds Mafker Nezakav is Chayev. So if that's the case, obviously you already know the problem. What about the Cham that say Pater? But Ikar Rabbanan de Patri. But there are the Rabbanan that say Pater. So we go up over here to our chart. So we said, let's take a new color so we'll see this clear. We said, oh, Rabbi Lazar holds a machlekes shas nefila. What's going to be lachan nefila? We say, oh, lachan nefila is pater. Said, well, we have a problem with that because, according to everyone, because Reb Meir holds that Yechayev, so we have to cross out pater. Okay, now let's write it in that you're rather it's supposed to say Chayev. Everyone holds Chayev. You say, 1 second, you can't say that because we have the Rabbanan that say that you're pater. So we don't know what to do now. Can't be pater. What's our problem? Can't be pater because Reb Meir holds Chayev. Reb Meir says Chayev. Can't be Chayev because we have the Chachamim, which happens to be Rabbi Yehuda, that say that looks wrong. Let's redo that. We have the Chachamim that say pater. So we can't say Chayev. I can write off the screen. So you have the Chachamim that say that it's pater. So we're kind of in a fix over here. He said the machlekes is only shas nefila. So what are we going to do over here? Are you chayiv or pater? Okay, so let's go back down. So elamai, rather what? B'shas nefila. What does it mean b'shas nefila? It means. Well, let's read this together. Elamai b'shas nefila. What does it mean that b'shas nefila there's the machlekes? It means af b'shas nefila. Let's underline it like that, which means also or even shas nefila is a machlekes. So if we go back up to our chart over here, Rabbi Liz is really saying the same thing that that Abaya said, that the machlekes is by both. Okay, let's see why we need Rabbi Lazar at all to say this. But the kamash malan keda Abaya, and it's coming to let us hear us. Lan is us. Kamash malan is coming to let us hear keda Abaya, exactly what Abaya said. Okay, now Rashi over here just explains that I wouldn't have known from the Brisa that the machlekes, the Brisa is arguing about both. Mishum delishna de Brisa le mishtama b'shas nefila, because the Brisa does not let us hear that it's talking about shas nefila, like we explained, because it says v'lei salkai. So itzrich Rabbi Lezer lashmina, and Rabbi Lezer has to let us hear the daikinen lamimas nisin, that we can learn it from our Mishnah, the Ktani Tarti, that it says too, kedam Rabbi Hillel, that Abaya said earlier. Okay. So basically we have Rabbi Lazar that says the same thing as Abaya, that the machlekes is about both.